can't find a seconder usually when I propose this, but I don't care. I don't need a seconder. My own opinion is enough for me, and I claim the right to have it defended against any consensus, any majority, anywhere, any place, any time. And anyone who disagrees with this can pick a number, get online, and kiss my ass.
Wise words from Mr. Hitchens. First things first, Alabama State Bar Rules of Professional Conduct Rule 7.2e requires the following language in all attorney communications. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services to be performed by other lawyers. My name's Harry Steele, backwoods Southern lawyer. Rains, Rushing. You there, Rains?
Here I am.
How's it going in Houston?
Happy Plastic Patty's Day from the 6 occupied counties.
Right. So tell us what's going on in Houston, and I'll tell you what's going on around here.
We are shut down. We have hit double digits for infections. My family and I have initiated a voluntary self-quarantine that started Friday. So we're well into it. My son is at home from school, will be for the foreseeable future. My wife and I have discussed that even if the school district does ask us to come back, we're probably just going to say no this year.
Okay.
And deal with those complications as they come. We're stocked with food and water. I'll have to make a grocery store run probably midweek, end of the week. But things are getting pretty serious here. I'm out of work. Most all of my people I know are out of work. Right. And the grocery stores can only hire so many people. So it's looking pretty grim around here.
All right. So around the nation, you familiar with San Francisco? They're under a shelter-in-place order.
Mm-hmm.
The governor of New York's been on the damn television more than talk show host all day, and he's been saying that he's on the brink of quarantining the island. Have you heard that?
Yeah. That's, that's going to happen. New York's up at triple digits now. And that's how it goes. And there's going to be a lot more cities that are going to have to shelter in place as the exponential rise of this goes, because people are not taking this seriously enough. And they're still not social distancing. They're not staying home like they need to. And it's going to become a point where the government's going to have to say, look, we've got to protect you from yourself, which sounds so incredibly obtuse coming from someone with my personal political beliefs. But at this point, they've got to do something. Like I told people last month, don't expect nothing if you don't do nothing. So,
and like we've been telling people for 3 weeks, get your stuff, get ready, get some cash, get your...
Right. Stay home.
Right.
And people aren't doing that. I have my regular bar that I go to. My wife and I just made the decision that we're no longer going to patronize that establishment because the owner, because they happen to live right across the county line, they're staying open and they're inviting people to come up there. And I voiced my opinions to the owner. I said, look, man, that's not a good idea. And he says, well, I got to do something to make money. I said, well, do something else. Sell dope for crying out loud, but don't open up your business to infect people, because you know as well as I do that your patronage, for the most part, me being one, ain't smart enough to stay away. And he disagreed. So I said, well, that's the last dollar you'll see of me. And I guarantee you, I've built the second pool of this house, the money I've spent there. So,
right. So we
people start smart.
So here in our small town of 8,900 people, allegedly, we had I guess the guy went in on Wednesday to North Baldwin Infirmary, and I don't know what the protocol is, but it's my understanding that he was, he fit the protocol. They had the test available. They gave him the test, and then they sent him home with a prescription that he allegedly took somewhere in town. Right? Like real bad idea kind of thing. Oh, we got Paul. Hold on. Everybody conference in. Paul, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're live. So Rains and I were talking about the patient zero up here in Bay Minette who allegedly went to the store and filled a prescription, and 2 days later found out that he did indeed have COVID-19. So, you know, and I called you concerned Sunday night or Sunday afternoon because Holly Hills Country Club, this our municipal golf course, is packed. The bowling alley, skating rink, all that stuff was open Sunday and full of people. People are everywhere, all in Baldwin County. Nobody's taking anything seriously, and it seems like it took Trump saying, "Hey, dummies, stay in crowds of less than 10 and self-isolate. Dig in. Well, no, it's going to be August."
They're taking it serious in Fairhope, man.
Well, yeah, they are now, Paul. But here's what I'm saying. I went to the Bay Minette Municipal, to the city council meeting Monday night. At the city council meeting, there were more than 10 people there. The Fairhope also had a city council meeting Monday night, and they also had a planning commission meeting because I watched it online. So, and then immediately after they take care of their business and declare states of emergency, which, let me say this, them declaring the state of emergency has nothing to do with them shutting anything down or whatever. It's a accounting tool so that if they expend money and federal funds become available, kind of like you declare an emergency ahead of a hurricane, federal funds become available for reimbursement and you can get those funds back, right? So,
well, I know that in the past when Tim Kant declared an emergency in Fairhope, they grabbed all the money they could every time.
Well, and I'm sure Rains has an opinion about these tests that they're going to pay these private sector $300 a pop to administer.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm going to attack that in a minute, but for right now, I will tell you that it varies state to state as far as the emergency disaster declaration goes. If the state of Texas, if they declare a national emergency, there are certain things that have to stop. And they do. The Texas Alcohol Beverage Control does have, under the declaration of disaster, have the ability and the obligation on certain declarations to absolutely suspend alcohol sales in the state. So there is some
too late.
There is some regulatory stuff that you might want to look into in Alabama's declarations that say yes, you can.
Hey, listen, brother. The only thing that's still open in the state is the liquor store. That was one of the things that was announced. The liquor stores are owned by the state of Alabama, the Alabama Beverage Control Board.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they're ABC stores.
They're open for business in these trying times.
Well, that's good. I don't know how long they will be. What are these guys pulling up to my shit for?
Hey.
Oh, sorry.
So we're live. Little children and such.
Yeah, my bad.
Okay, so so at 5:37 this afternoon, Attorney Steve Marshall says the governor can postpone the March 31st runoff. He issued an opinion today. So,
and they put off legislative session, right?
Sorry, I had to step away for a second. I'm back now.
They put off the legislative session too.
You've scooped me on that. I think what's going to happen is they're going to go in and they're going to pass a budget and they're going to recess. That's what I anticipate. I think.
I would agree. That's probably the course that the Texas legislature is going for as well. From what I understand, I spoke with one of my representatives just not too long ago on a completely unrelated subject. But I believe they're going to start teleconferencing committee meetings. They won't be able to hold votes, but they will be able to get quorums for discussions. And if they do have to have a vote on any kind of financial bill or anything like that, they are enterprising ways to do that remotely at this point, while maintaining continuity of voting integrity.
Yeah.
And the Alabama Department of Public Health, now they released a new release on testing, what to do while you wait for testing, and testing process. Do you want to hear any of that?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I want to back up to something about patient zero in Bay Minette, okay? So
right.
while the retards I wouldn't trust with a potato gun at City Hall sit around and do nothing until, last night at 6:45, that's when they posted the closures on their Facebook page. I did speak with Kelly Singleton. She is with the Alabama Department of Public Health. She's an infectious disease investigator. And she kind of put some of my concerns to bed. There was what they called contact tracing. So they went and spoke with everyone. They went and spoke with patient zero, and they said, okay, where all have you been? Who all have you been in contact with? So thank goodness the Department of Public Health in Alabama seems to know what it's doing. Now that case is being investigated out of Montgomery, and she did not give, there's their HIPAA issues and all that. They can just tell you what county it was in. And seeing as there's only one person in the county, I guess that's not too specific. So, but yeah, don't get in crowds under 10, boys and girls.
Don't get into crowds at all. It is irresponsible for you to get into crowds at all. If you have the option where you can have your groceries dropped off or picked up with minimizing human contact, please do so. We are way past the point of trying to control the spread of this thing. It's already out there. If you don't have it, you got a good chance of getting it if you go out. Stay home.
All right, so let me tell you one dude that doesn't suffer fools. Alabama State Health Officer Dr. Scott Harris. Have you seen that guy on TV?
Don't know.
Okay, so he says the coronavirus restrictions could last 3 to 4 months, and these are the precautionary measures enacted. Y'all are aware that we have the majority of the cases were in Jefferson County, right? And so they put into place some new restrictions, like for restaurants, bars, private schools, private daycares, nursing homes, all that. So that was Jefferson County. So today, Governor Ivey and Dr. Harris announced that those same restrictions would also extend to Shelby, Tuscaloosa, Blount, St. Clair, and Walker counties. Everything surrounding Jefferson County because it's a hot spot.
Yep.
Okay, so everybody's aware of that.
That makes sense.
All right, so what happens when the tests come back 4 days from now and it turns out there are 20 people in Baldwin County instead of 1?
It's not a question of if, it's a question of when.
I know but these people don't know. You can't argue with math. It's 3.8 per person walking around with the disease. It's a simple multiplication table kind of problem. Well, it's an exponent problem. Let's be clear about it. So the city of Fairhope, COVID-19 precautions and updates, the closings. All city buildings are closed to the public until further notice. The City Hall drive-through and drop box are available for utilities. Cancellations. Municipal court has been canceled until May 5th. Fairhope Arts and Crafts Festival has been canceled for 2020. The Easter Bunny at the Welcome Center has been canceled. Postponements. The start of the Fairhope Volunteer Dinner originally set for April 16th. For more information, go to www.fairhope.gov/Everbridge.
I think Fairhope also put about $10,000 in the budget to clean all the public buildings as well. Scrub them all down.
Sounds like a good idea. So have you guys been to the Alabama Public Health webpage? It's alabamapublichealth.gov, and they have a lot of really good resources. If you live in pick a town in Baldwin County, they probably have some decent information on their Facebook page. But if you want to get it straight from the horse's mouth, go to the public health website. Don't take that political spin with medical advice. You know what I mean?
Alabama Department of Public Health. Go to that site.
Another good resource, cdc.gov/coronavirus. How
That's the only one I would recommend at this time.
how to protect yourself, what to do if you're sick. It has just real simple. It's idiot proof. It's, A or B. Click on this. Click on that. It's a drill down. Of course, the Alabama State Bar. Everybody should know by now that all court proceedings are closed and postponed for at least a month.
Now, Marshall, 27 minutes ago, Steve Marshall, Attorney General, said that Ivey, it is up to Governor Ivey if she wants to postpone the March 31st runoff.
Right. He gave her an opinion saying that she has that authority.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
I suspect that she will.
I would certainly think so. I mean, she seems like a very practical young older lady, an old young lady, but if she's anything, she's practical. I'll promise you that.
Well, she's going to need to be practical now. So everybody better get ahead of this. The one thing is just everybody isolating themselves. They have to understand that everyone has to do that. A few people walking around random is not going to be helping.
And we're trying to lead by example. There's a reason that we're not sitting in a studio in Daphne, Alabama, which would have been hell of a lot more convenient for me. I can promise you guys that.
three people in a closed off room.
Yeah. Not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
All right. So Raines, just imagine this. They announced that they're going to shut the schools down for 2 weeks. Right now, you cannot rent a condominium in Orange Beach or Gulf Shores in the next 2 or 3 weeks. They are jam packed with people from all over the state who think it's a great idea. Well, I'll just go down to the beach while this is going on. And of course, our leaders down at the beach, they're like Mayor Stimpson over in Mobile, who don't understand what's going on yet. And he keeps saying, well, we need to keep people working as long as we can. And that's what I heard last night on Channel 5 News when they were talking to people down at the chamber in the south end of the county. And these people Eric, just don't understand that it is, if we sacrifice 2 months now, we can save our summer. If we don't do it now, we won't save the summer.
Let me tell you something that's just on the airwaves now. Governor Kay Ivey is suspending all rent, mortgage, and utility payments during the coronavirus crisis. Now, how she's going to do that?
All right. I hate to break this to everybody, but a governor can't do that.
Whatever.
That's a nice intent, and I'm sure her heart's in the right place, but a government cannot cancel commerce like that completely. No government in the United States can.
That's what I mean. I'm going like, what? This just is that. I don't understand that at all.
Have y'all been listening to this podcast that you've been participating in?
Yeah, that was a reality check just now.
There you go. Nothing surprises me. I wouldn't be surprised not one bit if she forgave all the credit card debt in the state of Alabama before she asked anybody if she had the authority to do that or not.
That'd be great.
Who knows? But if that's a directive from the governor, I'm sure that it'll be addressed in the court system accordingly, because there are a lot of people that are going to want their rent payment.
About the only thing that you can do in a situation like that is you can suspend eviction due process.
Yeah,
that can be done.
If the courts are closed, it's going to be hard
due process.
Right.
Correct. And you put a moratorium on eviction proceedings, filing, or hearings for 90 days. Now, that's something a governor can do. But, again, that's you say what you got to say.
We're talking about splitting $850 billion, 327 million different ways, which would give every warm body in the country $2,599.39.
I'd rather have a pound of lard and a 50 pounds of rice. Can I
I'd
choose
rather
door
have
number
every
2?
red hat SOB in this country explaining to me how they're going to pay for that.
Rains.
That's what I'm saying.
Rains,
That's
you
what
guys
I'm
haven't
saying.
been paying attention on this podcast. I've been saying nobody has even breathed a word of deficit spending, not since Trump's been elected. Everybody's been kissy face about blowing money. Why should now be
Yep.
any different?
I'll say this now. While I'm in favor of a stimulus because the economy needs it, we are headed into a global depression, a complete global economic collapse because of this. And where's the money going to come from to bail us out of that or help recover from that?
I absolutely agree.
The
100%.
unborn shall bear that burden, son. We
No,
will-
this whole
we shall
this whole
borrow
planet's
it
going
from
to
the
bear that burden.
Chinese.
Well, it's
a real
I
good
stand by my
question.
statement last week that this is all collapsing. It's all collapsing. You heard it here first, or probably like third, but you didn't believe it.
Hey, we can start making paper in Mobile again. Don't you worry. We all remember how to do it. Lots of old timers around that remember how the bowlers work. We'll
Not
get,
for long, there's not.
we'll,
And
we'll get back to it.
Another shutdown is, Floribama is shut down except for the gift shop, which is, I think, the first time Floribama bars have ever been shut down. So,
Except for hurricanes.
Except for the hurricane.
History in the making. Who would have ever thought it? But everybody's just, if everybody was to try to participate right now, it seems like 15 days is the magic number that they're trying to get everyone isolated to where they can pinpoint these hot spots. And that's the message that needs to get through to everyone is, and the older people do not need to be taking care of their grandchildren during the day.
Right.
That's not going to help either, even though I know you want to help. It's just not helping.
The 15-day, 2-week quantification is quite possibly one of the biggest social Band-Aids on a bullet hole I've seen in my living life.
Whoa, these many
It's
years.
going to be much longer than 15 days to 2 weeks. We are looking at months of this.
Well, what I'm saying really, Rains, is that in 15 days, I'm hoping that we have then a direction and can say what you're saying or where it will go. But I'm thinking that in 15 days, we should be a lot further down the tracks of deciding, which way it's going from there. Did the numbers jump off the scale or whatever?
Oh, absolutely, Paul. I agree with that. I'm speaking more to the municipality, schools, et cetera, are using this 15-day benchmark to say, this is how long we're going to be closed for. We'll examine it again in 15 days. That's really what I'm talking about.
No, I think those kids are out of school till summer done.
Yeah, this is it.
All right, so Rains, over in Mobile County, they have it set up.
No one has been. No one is ready. No, none of the states have been ready for this at all.
No, nobody is.
No.
And the fact that everybody is asked to, kind of stay in place and isolate yourself, and the fact that there's an exodus from northern Alabama, where the cases have been, to the beaches, and the beaches, the surrounding restaurants and infrastructure, most of it's closing down. My God, what a problem that's going to be in about 4 or 5 days.
Well, let me tell you let me tell you what's going to happen. The only way so you have business leaders. It makes sense. We're in a business environment. It makes sense you have business leaders on the city council and as mayors in these towns, right?
Right.
These people have they don't have any idea what they're doing when it comes to something like this. And they hardly have the ego.
Jaws.
They hardly have the ego to get out of the way of the people that know what the hell they're doing.
That's right. It reminds me of that scene in Jaws where Hal Holbrook's standing there chewing on his thumbnail going, I didn't want to bankrupt the town. I just closed the beaches.
Right.
It's ridiculous. These people, there's going to be, by God, if we degenerate to the point, there's going to be some people hanging on crosses around South Alabama. I'm here to tell you.
I don't think we're going to get
it'll start there.
I don't think we're going to devolve to that, but I think that they're going to be. So here's what I think. I think once we get
metaphorically speaking,
once we get testing in place, we're going to find out that there are a heck of a lot more people than one sick with this in my little town.
Exponentially, absolutely.
Just no question about it. And I agree with you. 15 days from now, we'll know a lot. But right now, the information that's out there, especially here in Bay Minette, everybody heard that, this guy went to the store. What store did he go to? Well, based on zero information, what do you think a prudent person would do? Well, they just wouldn't go to the store in Bay Minette because they didn't know which store it was. You see what I'm getting at? So by not being transparent and being the same Jake leg, hide the ball from everybody kind of pricks that we seem to elect over and over and over again around here, let's be transparent so that we don't hurt every business in town because everybody just present, the safe thing to do if the city won't tell you which, or the health department or whoever won't tell you which businesses this guy went to fill his prescriptions after the giant brains turned him loose at the hospital. Well, what are people supposed to do?
Right.
I think it's prudent. So anyway, there it is.
Well, let's hope everybody just stays in place and keeps their kids isolated and stay away from the grandparents. Give it the 14, 15 days. Stay in contact with the Alabama Department of Public Health. Do not run into a doctor or emergency room without calling ahead. Don't overreact. Make a self-isolation and just remain there, until we get a couple of weeks behind us and let's see what happens.
Couldn't agree with you more, Paul.
All right, so one more thing, and I don't want to fearmonger or anything like that, but back during the influenza pandemic in 1918, it seems that the people that when they finally ran out of hospital space and they started setting up pest tents on the edge of town, those people survived at twice the rate as the people in the hospital. So, are we thinking about taking the football stadium and setting up tents, and are we?
Absolutely.
Well, okay.
That is part of the CDC's agenda, yes.
Okay, so why aren't we staging that now? Why would we wait until 25% of the population is sick and throwing up and trying to help set all this up? It's just
because you're in Alabama. You're in Alabama, that's why.
Well, because you're in America, that's why. And we have a society that believes it's never going to happen to us. And so our leaders didn't prepare for it. Our country isn't prepared for it. We are going to have places taken over and remote hospitals set up because, you can research this easily, but the infection rate within American hospitals over the last 20 years for communicable diseases has been through the roof. That's how MRSA, or MRSA as everybody calls it, has spread so dangerously in this country.
So I heard that every 15 years, every hospital in America should be burned to the damn ground, and they should.
Well, it's a bit extreme, but that's a pragmatic view of it. Yeah.
Right.
If you really want an interesting insight on it, and I normally don't pitch anybody else's books, but Dr. Lindsay Fitzharris is a medical historian, and she's written a book called The Butchering Art, which is a fantastic read, and it details the rise of antiseptic medicine and the surgeon in London, in Victorian London, who kind of spearheaded that cause. And when you read it, and then you read a report from the National Institute of Health or from the CDC about how infectious diseases have spread in hospitals in modern times, you'll find an eerie similarity. Because viruses are nature's perfect work, and they are absolutely perfect machines, and they will dominate no matter what. So, fear mongering out the window.
You about to go Richard Dreyfuss on Jaws on me?
I'm not a medical professional, so I'll reserve that opinion because I'm not.
It's almost
I don't want to spread
perfect as the
disinformation.
great white shark, the coronavirus.
It really all those viruses are. hemorrhagic fever, all the influenzas, all of them.
Well, all they want to do is get inside your cells and divide and consume and divide
right.
and consume.
They're more dangerous than sharks.
Yep.
I'll
get away from the
drink,
shark.
I'll drink to that, brother. All right. So what else are we looking forward to? I was getting my butt out of the way because there's some live streams going on tomorrow that y'all might want to check out. The CDC does one. John Hopkins. Yes.
The Dropkick Murphys are doing a St. Patrick's Day show live from an empty theater in Boston right now, and I'm missing that to be on here.
Well, there you go, Range.
Y'all can take other live streams and be gone.
One for the team.
We'll get back together on Friday for the podcast.
Yeah, this was just a short. I got to figure out how to turn this off. Nick helped me set it all up. I'm sure everybody's going to sit here and watch me bumble for a little while. But so you got
you podcasting going to the bathroom,
right? Yeah. But I do have the other camera looking at the television. So if something did happen, I could flip over real quick. And, and it may be that if something major breaks, if they put us under quarantine down here in Baldwin County or something, we'll come back live as quick as we can and let you know about it. There's a new Lagniappe out. When is that, Paul? Tomorrow evening? It'll be interesting to see what's in there. So we'll get back together Friday for sure for our next podcast, and we may do a short here and there. If you guys come up with anything, text me, and we'll get live on the air, okay?
Okay, good deal.
All right, Paul.
Sounds
be
good.
Safe down there.
All right.
Stay home, stay safe, stay hydrated.
Right.